Alan Turing is often most associated with his code-breaking efforts here at Bletchley Park during World War II, but there was much more to the man than that. He was a mathematician, a computer pioneer, and a leading thinker when it came to artificial intelligence. Now, his theory went that for a computer to be deemed intelligent, then it had to be able to deceive a human into thinking that it was also human. Now, over the years, a number of programmers have tried to live up to that, but nobody has actually managed to pass that test. And that's what they're trying to do here today.
If a human thinks, and a computer's behavior is indistinguishable from a human, then we may say the computer is thinking. It's an operational definition of thinking, I thought. When it fell upon me to actually select the finalists, I was forced to look at the transcripts, or at least their performance on the screening test. And I was actually quite surprised at how good they'd become. I wanted to press and force the entries, or the entrants, into working on actually artificial intelligence rather than just clever chatter. And that's not what Turing was describing. He didn't describe an interesting chatter. It was a test. It was probing.
Now, the test itself is simple enough. In one room, we have 4 judges, and they're talking to the room next door. On one table, we have 4 computers, and on the table next to it, there's a table of 4 humans. Now, each judge next door talks to 1 human and 1 computer. They'll be talking for about 25 minutes, and they can ask anything they want. What's the weather like outside? How did you get here this morning? They can literally go down any route they want, as bizarre as they like. And now, it should be simple enough to have that sort of conversation, but there are still a number of ways that you can trick a computer.
In 2011, we had the prize down in Exeter, and Professor Noel Sharkey posed what I think is a pretty good question for a test of this type, which is, would it hurt if I stabbed you with a towel? And I think that's quite interesting. Of course, a human will be able to think around that. It's quite an odd question for a human to deal with, but of course they'll be able to think, oh well, maybe it's if it's frozen, if it's concealing a knife or something like that, then yes, of course it would. But the AIs just try and change the subject. They just don't have the sort of capability to deal with that sort of abstract thought.
While computers are undoubtedly becoming more sophisticated, we appear to be some way away from passing the Turing test. Who knows how long it will be before we achieve artificial intelligence, but over half a century later, we're still trying. Katie Spencer, Sky News.